all about. Ben.
Thanks very much. It was just something that Coy said that I thought was interesting. He was talking about how obviously it's not just the SEC that's interested in this question that's going to, have a say in this question. It's also Congress. And then Teresa was talking about how it's not just the investment contract in the definition of a security. There's a whole bunch of terms in the definition of a security in the federal securities laws. And it got me to thinking, well, if we're just talking about how should crypto assets be regulated, what should Congress do? Is it really the right thing to say that the CFTC, for example, should be the regulator of crypto? My concern there is the CFTC doesn't have an investor protection mission. It's not used to protecting retail investors, which would be fine if crypto wasn't being marketed to retail investors, but I think it is, which is why I think it, in lots of respects fits within the definition of a security. But then, we were talking about the Howey test and all of these things. It got me thinking, but there's another possibility if, it would make sense for the SEC to regulate crypto assets, which is that Congress could just amend the securities laws to have crypto assets be part of the definition of a security. Do I think this Congress is going to do that? I do not. But I think it is, something that, should be considered when you're starting from this kind of like clean slate, when you're just asking this question, what is a security? What, also as Teresa said, what's the sine qua non of a security? To me, if you have something where it's marketed to people as an investment, it trades on exchanges, the value depends on what other people are willing to buy and sell it at, starts to look like a security, you can kind of then just ask yourself, well, should it be considered a security, putting aside Howey and investment contract and everything like that? And I just think it's a worthwhile perspective to consider. And I know that this is a question for Congress, but my guess is the SEC, its views would be influential in this respect. And then, again, talking about writing on a blank slate, the SEC could regulate it however it wants, right? I know there's a lot of questions about, well, does the existing disclosure regime, fit? Who's going to be making the disclosures? Things like that. I mean, the SEC can write a whole bunch of rules to come up with whatever disclosure regime it wants, both so investors can be protected and so capital formation can be formed. I just think that, if you're really talking about this fundamental question, what makes up a security and how should we regulate crypto assets, who's the best regulator should really be taken into consideration.
Chris, I know you had a...
Yeah, this is like a 30-second. I really respect and really like the question of just sort of asking